What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode. I'm your host, Derek Darby. If you are returning after episode 1, guys, thank you so much for the feedback and the engagement. It has been truly surreal to get some of the messages from you guys. If you are joining us for the first time, welcome. My name is Derek Darby. We love having you here, talk all things amateur moto. We have a great guest lined up for you here, but before we get into it, this is the Amateur Moto Show. So if you're watching the Amateur Moto Show right now, we are reserving this segment for anybody or any video creator in the amateur motocross world. So if you have amateur motocross footage, you want to edit us a sick 10 to 15 second video that we can use for our intro, we'd love to hear from you. Our next guest joining us from South Texas actually built a marketing agency from the ground up in New York, sold it, traveled the country in an RV, bought a motocross track, left the country, and now he's back doing some amazing things. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us from Saco Ranch, Mr. Iain Grae. Woo! Woo! Hey, I think if you clap really emphatically, it shoots fireworks on your side. Do it.
Does it? Let's see.
Woo! Oh shit! Well, it did it the last guest. Maybe I'll.
I gotta work hard.
Yeah, maybe I'll superimpose it behind you. Iain, what's up, man? How are things down at Saco Ranch?
Dude, I spent the morning riding my dirt bike with 6 other people and our 2 trainers out here, and only stopped to take breaks because we got a bunch of UTVs riding the UTV track out here.
Yeah.
And then to come do this podcast. So like, you're kind of slowing my roll on the riding,
Sorry,
but I'm so pumped that you're doing this. We talked a few weeks ago, and you kind of had this inkling of an idea to do this, and I was just like, you need to do it,
yeah.
right? And I'm sure I wasn't the only one. So it's really cool to me to see you actually go through with it, because a lot of people, they can move their mouths real fast, but their hands and feet don't necessarily follow. And I kind of just had this feeling when we were talking that you were one of those people that's like makes things happen, and it's a little bit aside from what you were doing in the past. So like, I'm just pumped that you're doing this for the sport. The amateur riders need a voice right now. And, while I'm introduced as a track owner, and I am a track owner, like I feel more like a steward of this place. I'm a rider first.
Yeah.
Like I'm a racer through and through. That's why I'm here. I love doing this. I love riding. I love the community. And I just so happen to have a really cool place to ride that open to the public 7 days a week, and bring families out and do this with my family. So I'm pumped to be part of it, and I'm pumped to see what you're doing as well, because it's definitely needed right now.
Yeah, man, I really appreciate it. We had a great conversation. What was it, 2, maybe 3 weeks ago? A 2-hour talk. I think we had an hour booked, and we ended up going like 2 hours plus. It was a great conversation. We do have to keep it a little limited today. But yeah, man, it's the response that we've gotten so far. I think episode 1 on Facebook is over like 4,000 views right now, which isn't a lot, but whenever you think about the first episode of a show that's got maybe 100 followers on the page, to get that type of response and engagement is humbling. It's surreal, and man, every day I just get more and more excited about it. So thank you for taking the time. I appreciate the kind words and the kind of gassing me up there, if you will.
Yeah, well, I mean, 4,000 is a lot when you think about the world of motocross. Like, there isn't that many people.
True.
This is not a baseball or a football where you have 20, 40, 100 people on a team, right? Like, this is a very unique sport. It takes a very unique person to do this, and
Okay, thank you. Keep showering me with more compliments, please.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
3,000 people in your first one, and it just launched is huge. And I think the people are more engaged because they're not just like Instagram reel views where it's you get 90 seconds or 30 seconds or 60 seconds, however long the reel is, 20 seconds. You're getting people to really listen to what you're talking about, and whether they like it or not, it doesn't matter. The voice needs to be spoken, and we need to have a platform for this. So I think it's cool that you're doing it, and there's going to be a lot of things that get said on different podcasts where people won't agree with, and that's great because it just needs to be perspective at this point. And you're giving people a chance to share their perspective on things, because what gets gets shared, right? First you create that awareness, and then you start measuring what the consensus is, and then you can start managing things and making things better. And
Yeah.
I love this sport, but it always is room for growth. Right? I got a growth mindset. I think we can always improve, whether I'm out on the track riding or whether we're building this venue or we're collectively in Texas. Like Texas right now it's got a lot of changes happening, and it's caused a lot of uproar, and there's a lot of question marks that are happening and a lot of fireworks going off. And to me, that's healthy. I like a little bit of confrontation because it means to actually come to the front of things, and that means that there's going to be some kind of pivotal change. And as long as the riders, and I know you're looking beyond Texas, but as long as the riders have a voice in it, we're going to be able to make changes for the better.
Yeah, so that's my goal. If it's cliche to say because you hear it all the time, but if I can bring somebody on that brings one more rider to the gate, or makes racing more affordable by sharing ideas of what people are doing in the Northeast or Northwest or Northeast, South, wherever it is, we can pull the good, we can identify the bad, and find ways to make the sport better. That's what we're here for. But enough about me, man. This isn't what people are here for. So I know, I've heard this story. It is it's so interesting, just how you came to be where you are today. So let's give them a little bit of background and how we got there. Let's talk about your amateur moto journey, growing up, and then we'll dissect from there, I guess.
Right on. So we'll start from the beginning. Like a lot of kids, the first memory I have is of wanting a dirt bike. I remember seeing this dirt bike and being like, I want that. That's my first vivid memory. And when I see pictures of myself as a kid, I had this little plastic toy motorcycle that I'd go everywhere on. It would break in half, and my father would find ways to fix it to the point where it was half steel and half plastic, just to hold this thing together. And I'd always beg my parents for a dirt bike. And when I was 8 years old, my dad was like, just stop. You can have a dirt bike when you can afford one. And that could have been super defeating for me. But instead, a little switch went off in my head, was oh wait, I can control this. It's up to me. And the reason why I couldn't have one was because of money. That was what I was told.
Sure.
We don't have money for that. You can have one when you can buy one. So what did I do? I went and started raking lawns, cutting grass, picking up dog poop, shoveling snow, whatever I could. And 3 years later, at 11 years old, I came home with a CR60. And my dad was like, what is this thing? And I was like, it's my dirt bike. He's like, what do you mean it's your dirt bike? I'm like, you told me that I could dirt bike when I could afford one. So boom, there it was, all of a sudden dirt bike. And he was just like, what am I going to say to his mom?
Yeah. Oh, shit, man.
Because it was one of those moments, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny because I was so passionate about it. I just wanted it so badly that I was willing to do whatever it took to make it happen. And in that moment, I didn't know it then, but looking back, real obvious, it sparked a sense of entrepreneurship, a sense of if you want something, you got to go out and make it happen for yourself.
Right.
And how, actually being able to do that and be successful at coming home with this motorcycle actually showed me that hard work, or work in general. It doesn't necessarily have to be hard. My stuff was mostly hard work, but actually working towards something consistently will reap fruit. And I was able to take that on, right, and put that into my riding. And that got me reading. He gave me books by Napoleon Hill and Walter Wattles, and As a Man Thinketh, and everything about what your mind is and what you think about most of the time basically is what you're going to bring up in life. And I was very blessed that he handed me some of those books, and I just took them like as a literal fact. It was so much better than anything I was reading in school. And then coupling it with motocross, I got The Mental Edge from Paul Feed, from Race Tech, and that just like was a whole new thing that just opened my mind up to like just setting goals and consistency in relation to motocross. And because I was motivated by being able to ride, my parents used that as a nice lever so that I would do well in school and keep my behavior intact and do all of the things that us as parents want to be able to instill in our children. And it kept me having a certain level of discipline, goal setting, certain types of values, and kept me true to, those types of things. And I didn't realize that stuff was happening. I just wanted to ride my dirt bike, right? So for me, it was like,
give me two wheels and a throttle, please.
Yeah, and whatever I have to do that, like, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And, I would look in magazines. We didn't even have the internet back then, right? We didn't have phones. We didn't have those things. I would look in magazines, and I would see these big amateur races all around the country, Ponca, Loretta's, Minios, and it was just like a pipe dream to me. And eventually, after enough begging, my parents took me to my first race, in which I got second to last. I think it was the first moto, and then I think I got dead last the second moto. I might have got two from last the first moto. And my dad was like, oh, perfect, he's not going to want to do this, when I pulled off dead last. And I pulled off like so excited, and he was like, wait, what? Because I did the ball sport thing. Like I did the football and I did the baseball. And I was always on championship teams, but I just was like not into it. Like we won a lot of championships, and it wasn't necessarily my playing. Of course, I contributed in whatever way I did. I wasn't a star performer, but I was adequate and all that stuff. But we were winning all the time. We were getting pizza and ice cream like every single game. We had like one game where we just one season we shut everybody out on this team called Chemical in baseball. Zero interest. Yeah. Dead last in motocross, best thing in the world ever.
Loved it.
Yeah, so that just set me on a path, and eventually I did make it to Minios, and I did make it to Loretta's, and got to do all that stuff. And my plan was to get my pro license, even got me into a place where I graduated high school half a year early, thinking I'm going to be able to go do the pro racing. And then some things changed in life when I graduated early, and that got taken off the table. So I got my pro card, but never even got to go to a national.
Oh, wow, really?
It was heartbreaking. It basically came down to like my first national was going to be Unadilla, and I was going to have enough money to get myself there, bring a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with me, and be able to pay for the race entry. And that was, I didn't even know how I was going to get home.
Yeah.
Or I could stay at home and work and make some extra money and figure things out. And that's what I ultimately ended up doing. Led me going to college, starting an advertising business, got away from Moto. But I took the same mentality I learned in Moto to my business. And, started that with my credit card in a tiny apartment and my friends in Queens. Ate nothing but, we call it street meat and Chinese food. Really didn't, have the means, but very quickly, because I took that same attitude I had with motorcycles and racing motocross to business, I was like light years ahead of everybody else, and things just happened quick. And all of a sudden, a few months later, I'm writing myself a check for $45,000, which to me was like $1 million.
Yeah, what?
Back then, right? So,
right.
I was like, whoa, that's huge. And then the business continued to grow, and in 3 years, we had 150 employees, and we're doing over $1 million in EBITDA a month. And it was amazing on so many fronts, but it really came from everything I learned about discipline and work and certain ethics and values in motocross. And I treated everything that was like, everything I was doing was like that gate drop. Everything was like focus, pinpoint, visualization. Like, I'm getting to the first turn first. I'm getting to the next turn first. Like, every single meeting I had that level of intensity. And the business got big, and it was awesome. We had 20,000 square feet in the Woolworth building in New York City, office in Meisner Park in Florida, in Boca Raton, another one in Pennsylvania.
Oh, wow.
And it was huge. But all of a sudden, like one day I just woke up and realized like I'm just in a box in a condo, and I'm getting in an elevator, which is another box taking me down. And then I'm walking a few blocks and I'm getting into a subway, which is like another, and I'm like, I'm not even any different than a rat, just chasing cheese. And
which is very interesting for you, because you spend 5 minutes talking to you and just watching your demeanor, and you can immediately tell that you do not belong in anything corporate. And I mean that in like the nicest way possible, just because I'm really the same way. Like, just get me out of this room, please. Like, yeah, it's so funny.
it was always really funny because I couldn't even dress the part. I'd have suits, but I would get like these really nice bespoke suits that were like custom made, completely looked different than anybody else's suit, but it fit the criteria.
Yeah.
So that I could wear them, right? And it got to a point where I'm like, I can't go in this subway anymore, and I would get a car service to take me, and then I'd be sitting in traffic. So I ended up getting my BMX bike from when I was 13 years old, and I started riding my BMX bike to the office. And the office was so big, I'd ride it around the office in like cowboy boots. And it was just, like, I did not fit into corporate America. What, you're 100% right.
Yeah.
But most innovators don't, right? They're maybe in a new path. So it was online advertising. It was mostly advertising technology that we ended up building, even though we were an agency for a lot of companies, but we built this unique technology to support them. And it was like fascinating, the work that we were doing. Like when Can't Spam came out, if you remember that, like I was sitting on the Interactive Advertising Bureau on panels helping them write the rules and ethics around how you market online back when it first became a thing.
Right.
Not really where I belong, but I had like a expertise, right? So I knew though that I did not belong doing this, and simultaneously I started getting offers for the business. And I had made a goal setting sheet for myself when starting the business that mirrored what Paul Feed created in the Mental Edge. But that was for motocross, but I just like did it to my business, like literally a piece of paper that like these are the things that I need to do over the next 5 years.
Yeah.
And at year 3 of doing the business, I 10x'd what my goal was for year 5, and was having like 36 offers on my business that were all like, I will take any one of these.
Right.
And they were like legitimate offers. I'm like, if I can just be out and just like first set it up so that it grows beyond what it is now and get the right people in place, and then be out and go live my life, then I'm done. Like this is solid.
Yeah.
So that all happened really quickly, and I took about a year of time of celebration, and then realized like wasn't happy. Like, what do you do? I had money. I'm not even 30 years old, or maybe I was just 30 years old. I'm single. Like I thought that I had achieved success in that moment, right? But I had no idea what the definition of success really was for me. So, I went and did the South Beach living thing and just did this big year of celebration. And then I realized this is completely meaningless, and went into like a deep, deep depression.
Oh, wow.
So I was thinking like, what did I do that made me happy? Like, when was I happiest? And I was like, oh, riding dirt bikes. So I'm going to get back into this. I'm going to get back into riding motocross and see, where it takes me. And I had traveled a lot of the world, so I was, super blessed life. Like, I'm not complaining in any way. In my place, I was in a bad place mentally. I was around a lot of people that saw what I had and were, taking advantage of it, and I was blind to it.
Yeah.
So I got an RV and started traveling the country and just riding dirt bikes at different tracks and stopping at national monuments and stuff like that. And did that for about 2 years. And I came upon Cycle Ranch. And it was so funny because every place I went to, there was a lot of really cool tracks. Like really some amazing place, like Durham Town. Huge venue. in Georgia, lots of tracks, all kinds of different kind of riding. But I only stayed there for 2-3 days at a time. And I'd go back to try to see more of it because it was just such a big property. Went to Washougal, right? Like I traveled and I saw pretty much every single track you've seen on TV in the Nationals and a lot of smaller ones. And
did you start in New York whenever you started that journey, or where did you start from?
I literally started in South Beach.
Okay.
So
so you were down in Florida.
And I just started like unpacking my apartment and moving it into an RV.
Yeah.
In my condo. So I started from there, and first place I went was the Orlando area. So I was near Haines City. So that's where I met Tyler Livesey from MX Factory.
Okay.
Went with him for a little bit. I sponsored the Dade City race series for a season. So I went to like Bithlow, East Bay, all of those tracks. So it was just really, exciting to be able to hit all those different tracks. But I would stay there for very short periods of time and really just get what I could out of them and then move on to the next location. But when I got to Cycle Ranch, this weird thing happened when I got to Cycle Ranch, which was almost 2 years later. All of a sudden it was 6 weeks had gone by and I was still here. And I was like, this place is just, there's something sacred about this place. There's something amazing about this place.
Yeah.
And that they were going through some troubles every single weekend. They're like, I don't know if we're going to make it to next weekend. I was like, well, maybe I can buy it. I don't know. I remember it was on sale for the market a long time ago. Let's, kind of open the conversation up. And we did. And the owners, they had a valuation that just seemed crazy to me. It was a pretty complex deal. They had done a reverse merger into like a company that was penny stocks.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up pretty bad. Hold on one second.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was breaking up pretty bad. I don't know why. You were solid until then.
Yeah, it's weird. We're on Starlink, so we got some good internet here. But
yeah, come on, Elon.
It was a pretty complicated deal. So I was just like, you know what? No big deal. I'm just carry on, and ended up back in Florida. I had a condo in West Palm Beach. Went and stayed there for a few months, and all of a sudden they called me up. I'm like, we're about to lose this place. Do you want to purchase it? So we opened up the conversation. Pretty much had everything down to a T. And they called me while I was at dinner with a girl I was dating and basically negotiated the whole deal while she was waiting for dinner to get there. I come back to the table. She's a little pissed that I've been gone for 15 minutes, but was pretty quick to get a deal figured out.
Right.
And she's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, I just bought a motocross track. And she just, boom, waterfalls coming out, crying because she liked the life where we were and everything.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way I'm going with you. And I was completely blindsided. Like, I didn't think this was going to even affect my relationship in a negative way.
Yeah.
But I was like, all right, well, let's just try to enjoy dinner and then we'll figure this out if it even happens. Like, just can't hold your horses. Relax.
Yeah.
Right. So the day that we got the deal done and everything finally signed, they got repossessed by Steve from BP.
Oh my God.
So I was like, okay. And I was already here for like 2 weeks, like fixing gates and mowing and weed eating and meeting everybody and getting everybody amped up. Don't worry, we're going to save this place. And then everything got pulled out from underneath me. Yeah. And legally I had the right for the purchase because it actually happened before the transfer of the documents. But then it was going to be like another lawsuit. And I was like, this doesn't make sense. So I called up Steve Burns, who was the owner at the time, who started VP Fuels. And he was open to it, but he was in no rush. He's like, I'll just keep it. I'll just close the gates. I don't care. I'm like, but what about the community? He's like, whatever. I did enough for them.
Yeah.
I'm just going to close the gates. Don't worry about it. And I'm like, dude, like, I just worked on all of this. We got to figure out a way to make this happen. And the next 4 weeks, we got the deal done. He let me operate it for that time, so nobody in the background even knew. So once we got the track in our hands, it was like full investment mode. This building that I'm in right now was a pavilion that was just basically covered in bird poop. But I was like, this is where the cafe and pro shop's got to go instead of this little cabin that we have over here. And I was standing at the pavilion that's to my right here, overlooking the back property, like the night track right here. You can watch this from the pavilion. We can bring spectators out. It just will all work. We brought Jason Baker from Dream Tracks out. We had a bunch of people help. Like every single track owner in Texas, like I had relationships with everybody because I'd been traveling around going to different parks, right? So I already knew Tony Miller. I already knew Emil. I already knew a lot of the people that own the tracks in Texas and around everywhere. Yeah. So I had like this document that had like 50 questions on it, and I called up every single track owner and asked them to break down how questions. They do these things.
Yeah.
So I would get like a doctorate degree in how to run a track rather than just what I saw as a racer that's been to many races, right? Because it looks a lot easier than it is.
Oh, yeah, I can't imagine.
So much easier than it is. And it's not like an advertising business or an advertising technology business or a financial technology business where money comes in fast and it doesn't go out that fast. Here it's like my costs are all 5 figures, right? There's not really anything under $10,000. Like repairs, boom, 15 grand, like just out of nowhere. But your inflow is all like micro.
Right.
It's all 2 digits.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like you got 2-digit inflow and you got 5-digit outflow. Managing a business like that doesn't appeal broadly to like 10,000 people is very challenging, right? So very opposite of what I was used to with my advertising agency, where it's like all my expenses were really dependent on revenue. My cost of goods, I could throttle it, like this doesn't work, get rid of these campaigns, keep these ones that are working. We'll take a couple losses to learn what works, but then we delete out everything that doesn't work and we just pump all the energy to stuff that does work. Doesn't really work for motocross. So I spent a lot of time just building relationships and figuring out how to do this, meanwhile just pumping money into this place. And during that time, I ended up meeting another woman, and her and I got married. So we were out here, and she was a city girl. She didn't like the country. I'd be out here and like working my butt off, and it was kind of an interesting place in time where social media was getting popular. I got a lot of people onto Facebook to communicate about races and what's coming up, and it was a huge success for us in the beginning. And the tracks we were building, everything was so positive. But the moment that it turned negative, then all of a sudden it was like everybody's keyboard warrior.
Yeah.
And the negativity started, which we still see now, but I think it's really quieted down. Like you still
you think
see
so?
it, but when yeah.
Dude, that's hard to imagine with everything that you see going on in Texas Moto right now. Like,
dude, it was something else. To the point where I was like, what am I doing? Like,
right.
I'm sitting here slaving away out at the track, and if a water truck breaks, then I don't hear the end of it all week, and people are like mean, right? And I'm like, I'm burning my own personal cash to make this place work, plus working, 15 hours a day. And then I go home and my wife's pissed off because I've been doing this all day and not hanging out with her. And finally I was like, all right, somebody wants to lease the track. Like, let's go focus on our relationship. So this place was gangbusters from, when we got it, late 2012 to about 2015. Then all of a sudden the negativity started coming in, and I was getting on both places. And I was like, and if somebody else wants to lease this and run this, like, let me go take care of my relationship, right? Like, I'm fine. Like, I don't need to have a motocross track. Like, I got a good life, right? As much as I love riding and I love moto, I don't need to do anything to please anybody except for my family.
Right.
So we left. We went to back to Miami, and after I guess about 2 years there, it was pretty clear that it wasn't Texas, it wasn't the track, it was us. Or I'll take full responsibility. I can say it was me and
Sure.
who I was being and what my expectations were in relationships. And it was a really pivotal time for me because I had a certain example of what relationships look like. Whether it be by my own upbringing, watching my mom and dad, how they interacted, and also TV was a big factor, movies and stuff like that. And you watch TV, unless you're watching Little House on the Prairie or Highway to Heaven, like you're not seeing good relationships.
No,
on TV.
not at
Like,
all.
It's programming that's put out there.
Trash.
It's freaking sad,
Yeah.
right? So all it does is split. It causes people to have these weird anxieties and insecurities, and then they project them onto their partners and think that they're supposed to behave in this way. It's just unreal. But I didn't realize it was happening to me. I fell into the maya of it, and while all that was happening, we split, and that was like a moment for me to do a deep dive and like, who am I being in creating these kinds of relationships? Because I saw patterns in all my relationships where they would end and they would be amazing, and all of a sudden they would like explode in this way that I didn't even see it coming, kind of thing. Like I knew there'd be issues, but it was time for me to do a deep dive. So I did that deep dive, soul searching, decided, okay, I'm gonna move to Costa Rica, go be super chill in the jungle, have a life away from all of these, what I call impressions, right? So every sign that I look at, I'm reading something, I'm consuming, right? Every time I hear something, I'm consuming that. Every time I'm eating something, drinking something, I'm consuming that. And I'm like, I'm going to just move to like as natural as God intended. And where can I do that? And I had been to Costa Rica several times, and I was like, okay, I'm going to move there. And in my process of moving there, I ended up meeting another woman who's now my current wife, the mother of my son, Emily. And we just were friends at first, and she was just like, I could just be so real with her about everything that was going on, and she was always holding me in my highest. So, we moved to Costa Rica together, started our family. Everything's super chill. As far as I know, the track is leased out, it's running, everything's good. And then I had somebody approach me to purchase the facility, and I was like, perfect, like I can just really lay down roots here and not have anything back in the States, and we can be here. My life literally was get up in the morning, have a coffee, watch the sunrise, listen to the monkeys, and then go get on a dirt bike, ride it, and go surf, drop off my kid at like jungle school where all the kids go, and I go run around naked, like free as can be.
Little Tarzans or what?
All Mowgli, Tarzans. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like completely natural, like just in their wild feral state. And I'm like, this is perfect.
Yeah.
And go surf, eat breakfast with my wife. We go pick him up from school and then hang out and swim in the pool all day until the sunset. And, I did work there too. I became a breathwork instructor, and I've got medicine bowls and gongs, and I help people that have to go through the kind of transformation that I went through, and like uncovering their limiting beliefs and the anxieties and fears, and detoxing from this crazy world we live in, because it truly has a lot of poison in it. And when we get it out and understand it, then also we can live life like really authentic in who we are and stand strong. So, and where I am in Costa Rica has a habit of bringing people that are like just ready to like let go of that old world and and move into their next phase of being, like shedding his skin. So, those were what my days were filled with, like helping people that were in need and surfing and hanging out with my family. So somebody comes to me to purchase the track, and during that deal, I got a phone call like, okay, I got your next payment, next part of the deposit. I'll have it for you tomorrow. We're good to go. I'm like, all right, cool. We had a bridge lease going. And the next day, the person called me and was like, I got arrested yesterday, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this deal anymore.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, oh, okay. All right. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Let's find a way to break apart, so you can go take care of your affairs.
Serve your time.
And I'll figure out what I'm going to do with this track. Right. So I put a calling out there on the Facebook page, like anybody that wants to come be part of this and take over this thing, reach out to me. Like I want it to stay on. I don't want to.
What year was this?
This is just 2 years ago, two and a half years ago.
Yeah.
So, I guess 21.
21, 22.
Yeah.
Sure.
21. This time in 21. And I had a flurry of people reach out to me. And it was interesting because people would reach out to me that had the desire, but they didn't have the capital, right? And this business is so capital intensive. They're like, I have this much money, you need to finance it. And I'm just like, there's no way this is going to work. Like, you need a lot more money than you think.
Yeah.
Like, just to reopen this, you need to be able to just burn $250,000. And I didn't want this place to have another black eye where it gets opened up and somebody comes and tries to take it on. And it's not, it doesn't become what it needs to become.
Right.
And then I had people that had the money, but they didn't have the drive or the time. And then, of course, I had people that wanted to purchase it and turn it into housing, right? Which had all the money and the place just goes away. So I would pray. That's what I do. Like when I don't know what to do, when it's not clear and I don't just like feel the right thing to do, I'll sit and pray. And even when I think I know the right thing to do, a lot of times I'll sit and pray. But every time I'd sit and pray, like the instructions I felt like I would get back were like, go back and reopen this facility. And I would be like,
Try again.
My family is solid right now.
Yeah.
I don't need any drama, anything in my life that's going to waver from that. I feel good with how I'm helping people. I feel good with, where I am with my wife and my son and my days and the way they're flowing. I'm just like, please, like, bring me something else.
Yeah, give me something else. That doesn't work for me right now. Shake that magic 8-ball one more time, baby.
Yeah, right. But, after a good 3 months or so of doing this, finally it was like, just go put your feet on the ground.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'll do that. And I asked my wife if she'd want to come out here, and San Antonio would be a good place to go for our son. It's got all kinds of activities, and kind of sold it on her. I'm like, we'll just stop at the track. And it's your birthday when we're out there, so we'll do something fun for your birthday. And she's like, sure, let's do it. She's like down for whatever. She's super cool.
Yeah.
So we come out, and the first thing we do is we stop at the cycle ranch, and next thing I know, I'm sitting with my son on my lap with a loader fixing number 1. And just kind of seeing how it feels, like just, even though the place is in complete disarray. But I'm like, I'll just move a little bit of dirt, see what happens. And we ended up extending our stay and really didn't do much for my wife's birthday. We ended up opening the track and just doing a little trial run. And we had people come out in droves and helping to get this place on its feet. And we did a donation-only ride day. Donate what you can. Come ride. We did 2 days. We had the well blow up. We had all kinds of things happen. Like, it went from like, okay, we're actually going to make $2,000 this weekend to like, oh, we just lost
everything.
$12,000
this
weekend.
Yeah.
But we had so many people in the community support it and then commit to supporting it if I were to come back and reopen it.
Yeah.
So we went back and we had like some long conversations. Like, what do you want to do, babe? And I was still 100% honestly, I was like, let's just
please say no. Please say no. Please say no. Please say no.
Let's just we have such a beautiful thing going. Like, we don't need to add this level of stress.
Yeah.
And she's like, I think we should do it. I'm like, what's wrong with you? I think you should do it like it's the people, like the way that they talk about Cycle Ranch and who they are and who showed up and how they helped, and it brought all these people from different walks of life together, and the community aspect of it. Like that's something you always talk about, is having a great community around you. Like you kind of have a plug and play there. Like obviously there's going to be some issues. You love to ride. Like it's something you've done forever. Like I think we should do it. And I was like, things are going to be a lot different. Like, we ain't going to be sitting for 3 hours playing backgammon at night just talking about things.
Right.
Like, it's going to be busy. And there's going to be times where I don't even see you. And truth be told, like, sometimes I forget what my wife looks like now. I'm like, I see you at the end of the day, I'm like, oh, there you are.
There she is.
So, you know, that's kind of how it happens. So we just... we got the community together, and in August, not of 2 years ago, is when we came back and really just hit the ground running. And we were going to just open it like a couple times a month, but the community demanded more. They wanted more Cycle Ranch, and you know, we laid out our values and what our culture is here, and you know, making sure that we're bringing people that are going to be honorable. They're going to have a certain level of discipline and respect for each other, make sure there's a certain level of integrity out here, and that, you know, the growth of the community is paramount. So we just made sure that we kept that as like what the focus is consistently. Yeah. And with that, we've just started to bring all the right people in. And it's been a real blessing to see how it's transformed, because it's very different than how I did it previously. Previously, it was like all about the racing. Let's get the biggest race events. Let's build a racing community, all that stuff, and make that a primary thing. And now it's like, let's make sure that the kid that wants to ride on a Tuesday has a place to go. Yeah. Or the 30-year-old kid, whatever. I mean, you got time off from work, you want to ride today? Like, let's make sure that we're open for you to come out and ride. Let's make sure we have an element of training. Let's have a rental fleet of bikes, so anybody that wants to be interested or wants to try it before they get into it, they can. So we have like these introductory classes and these learn to rides, and now all of a sudden we doing summer camps, and we got dentistry families that never would have even considered this, like that come out every single weekend and then give a 50% off learn to ride to every kid that's got a cavity. Well, let's, right? And this, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to dive into that because, you know, as awesome as your story is and everything that you've done, I really want to hammer home what Cycle Ranch has become, and what you guys are doing for the amateur world. Because I've been there, you know, being in Texas. We raced the Best of Texas series there last year. My son loved the track. And, you know, you spend a weekend there, and you can really tell how much you guys care about the community. The cafe shop that you have, the spectator areas that you have, the cabins that you're putting up to try to make the families, to try to make it more affordable for families that are coming down from longer distances. They don't have to go spend $200 on a hotel room. They can, if there's a cabin available, spend, I think you told me it was like 50, 70, 80 bucks a night for a cabin or something like that.
$75, yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the amenities of the track, and what you guys are doing to kind of outreach to the community and bring more riders in.
Yeah. So it's kind of, if I were to show you my mind map of, and I think I might have even showed you the mind map of a couple of things. Yeah. For the strategy for this business is like ridiculous, but the main thing is to build bonds with the customers that come in. That's number one. Right. The people that come in, we want them to feel welcome. We want them to feel safe. They want to feel them to come in, and however they come in, they leave even happier, and just have like a great experience. So number one is building those bonds with the people that are already coming, getting to know them, and strengthening that community. Right. And number two is actually growing that community. Right. So in the growing of that community, we hit a couple different things. The main thing is making the barrier to entry lower, because that's one of the hardest parts of this sport, is like even if you have the money to go spend $5,000 on a motorcycle, and then another $1,000 on the gear and equipment that you need, and then a trailer, and then a truck, and then everything else to get the kid to the races, and then they don't even want to do it in 3 months. Like, whoa, like
It's a lot.
That's just
Yeah.
why do that, right? I could just get him a baseball and drop him off at practice.
Right.
Like, I can play a net that he can practice pitching in, like in the backyard, and
Right.
I don't have to go anywhere.
Right.
Right. Or some people are just like, I'll just get him an iPad. Right. So
Brother.
we want to make the barrier to entry super easy. So we have the learn to ride all the way from learning how to balance on like the Stasics. Right. So we have all sizes of Stasics. We're going to be having Orion really soon. We're going to be carrying them. Actually, I think the delivery just got here.
Nice.
All the way up to full-size motocross bikes. We have 350 SXF that people can rent. We have two 125s. We have Stark Varg out here. So we have the customers that are local that now are coming and it's growing the sport, making it very easy, low barrier of entry to test it out. And those individuals that it fits with, like it becomes a thing and they are hooked and they are addicted and they love it. And then we have a set of customers that come from far away because we have so many amenities that it becomes like a resort for them because we have a playground. We have two playgrounds, actually. We had a playroom, but that's got turned into a gym now. So now we've got all that stuff. So we have people living
The track is the playground. You don't need a playroom. The track is the playground.
Right. And the track, I mean, we have our national track. We have our night track. We have our vet track. We have 3 turn tracks. We have a trail. We have a kids track. We have this side-by-side / Raptor truck track. So we have plenty of places to ride your off-road vehicles. And
are we getting an amateur supercross track? Or is that to be discussed later?
Yeah, there's been lots of requests, and for anybody that's watching right now, tell us, like, are you going to come here and ride our amateur supercross track? And I know that you're based closer to Dallas-Fort Worth, and that's the one thing that I hear say. The only complaint I hear about Cycle Ranch now is, I wish it was closer, right? Which we're making it easier for you to come here and stay here. Like, you can just come in your pickup truck, you can have your bike, we can put it in the cafe, so you don't have to worry about it if you're at a hotel, or you could stay in one of the cabins. We have RVs for rent too, so you can save on the fuel getting here. Like, I can't make a teleportation device. I'd love to have a zip line that you could all just ride.
Yeah, let me know. Let me know when you do that.
But until then, like, we're gonna just make it as palatable as possible, and just make it something that, you know what, I'm gonna go for 3 days because they've got so many tracks, they've got training, they've got other facilities and amenities there that it's going to keep the whole family entertained, and it's going to keep us together. Like, we have a cafe here, so you don't have to go out and figure out what your food is, and our food is super healthy, right? That was a part of the ethos that we want to make here, is like no artificial dyes, no artificial sweeteners, have everything we possibly can get organic, have everything really clean, so that the kids are actually, and the adults are performing at their peak. Like, people spend $120 on a can of VP, but they won't eat proper food, and then they're like sluggish, or they're not able to concentrate on the track. And I'm like, what?
Guilty.
What do you? So, you know, we're hitting it at a lot of angles, and a lot of it's subversive. Like the values, the culture aspect. Like, people don't come for that. But that's what makes them stay. Like, I want to come back.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They don't come for the cafe or the amenities. But you know what? When you go out to a track and you fall over and you break your clutch lever and you're done for the day, it sucks.
Oh, yeah.
But if you come to our track, we have that clutch lever most likely. We have the tire. We have the tubes. We have somebody to change it for you. We got sprockets. We got air filters. We got basically everything that you need, except for specialty parts, to keep you on the track.
Yep.
And you don't have to leave to get something to eat. We got whatever you need, and at a high quality level, so you're going to be feeling pumped. So we're looking at it like a holistic approach of, you come here, you can get anything Moto or anything you would need while you're here.
Yeah.
We even have medics on the weekends, right? Nobody has people don't even have flaggers. Like we have flaggers and medics on the weekend.
Yeah.
Make sure that you're feeling safe, and if something goes wrong, you got somebody that's, they're EMS. They're not paramedics certified like the top.
They're not doctors.
But they're not, Randy on the side of the track that doesn't even know how to maintain.
Who's probably half of a 12-pack of Busch lattes deep, telling you that your arm is good when it's pointing the other way.
Yeah. Exactly.
Hold my beer. Let me get your bike up for you, son.
Yeah, go finish your moto. No, we don't have any of that, right? And those individuals also police the pits, so the pits become safer. Right? That's the idea. Is like now we're preventing injuries, making sure that people are wearing the proper riding gear and that kind of stuff, preventing as much injury. And then if something does happen, we're on the spot with it. And then on the incident reports, all those people get called. All those incident reports are, every time somebody goes down and the medic comes over, there's an incident report.
Yeah.
And we look at those in the team meeting every single Wednesday, and we say, oh, looks like a lot of people fell in number 8. We need to change that. Let's fix up that jump. Let's see why that is.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Right? Rather than just wondering what's happening. So I don't think there's any one specific thing that we're doing differently, but the fact that we're open 7 days a week, and then we have these individuals and this kind of protocol and the values that go along with it, and that we're consistently looking to improve, makes a holistic change in how the business functions and operates. If we were just open for races, we'd be guessing all the time. But we got flaggers every single weekend. So when they come on the race weekend, those people have been flagging. It's not just somebody first time picking up a flag. Every once in a while, we'll have to get a new person, right?
Sure. Yeah.
But for the most part, everybody's got some level of experience, and they're surrounded by other people of experience. And now half of our flaggers got dirt bikes. So we're starting to lose flaggers.
Losing flaggers because they want to race. That's a good problem to have, though. I mean, it's a good problem to have. You guys are definitely doing a lot to grow the base and offering more than just motocross out there. I saw this morning a video of a guy in like a Ford F-150 X something. I don't know what it was, but it looked like he was having a hell of a good time ripping around a dirt track out there on a full-size truck.
Flying through the air, and they'll take you for a ride along, right? So what happens is they'll bring their families, the kids will see the dirt bikes, and all of a sudden now you got a little dirt bike rider. We just did a mud run, and
I saw that. How did that go?
It went great. It was like we know how to do it. We have the sauce. We know how to run the parking to get 1,000 cars in here in less than 4 hours.
Yeah.
And the place was empty and clean by 2:00 in the afternoon.
That's awesome.
On that Saturday, we were prepping for practice for Sunday. We have a good team. They love being here. It's funny because everybody comes to me and asks me like what's going on, and I literally tell them like, go ask the person in the cafe. I'm just a rider.
Yeah.
We have our Wednesday meeting, and that's when we discuss things, and I might have to give some marching orders out on that. But come Saturday, Sunday, like I just want to be here to ride my dirt bike, shake your hand, make sure you're having a good time. But I'm not making decisions on anything. Yeah. Like I'm not operating the business. I'm trying not to be in the business. I'm just trying to be at a higher level and say, okay, be able to do talks like this, get the feedback from people, right, and see what they say. So I'm working on the business, not in the business. And this place takes on a life of its own. So I can be wherever. And this place, people are going to come and have a great experience. It's not because they like Iain or dislike Iain or my wife or my son. Nothing to do with that. They
love Cycle Ranch.
They love Cycle Ranch, and they love the way they're treated when they're here. And every one of my employees is like top notch. Like I love every one of my employees. Like they're just great freaking people. Yeah. They're just not that we don't have issues. Yeah. Or words. Right. But I love them. Like it's great.
No, I think it. I think going there and we had conversations with the flaggers and the staff there, and everybody was more than welcoming and making sure that we were accommodated and taken care of. This was before Amateur Moto Show, or they weren't treating us a certain way because of who we were, but they were treating us a certain way because of who we were. If you know what I mean, like they just wanted to make sure that everybody was taken care of. And I think that what you're doing with like the fun run and offering different things outside of motocross at Cycle Ranch is a smart business move. I mean, obviously, it just adds to the value of the property and brings more people there, more eyes, which ends up growing the sport, because of that. So, pretty awesome. Let's talk about some events that you have coming up. So, I know we've got a Texas Winter Series round coming up. I saw something about the women's pro race, a little bit of Verb Moto action. If I saw that correctly, what do we got going on?
Yeah, so Thanksgiving weekend, the weekend after Thanksgiving,
Yep.
we have our USA MX Championships. That is where WMX was actually born. A lot of people now don't know this, but women's motocross was actually born out here about 20 years ago, and it was at that Thanksgiving event. So it was the Team USA MX Championships or Motocross Championships,
Yeah.
where we kind of represented a state. And this year we have a team element, but you can make your own team. And we have like a 6 foot, I think it's 5.5 foot trophy, like the one in the back, that will be given out for the team award. But it's an AMA Pro-Am. We have great racing for all classes. We have a class, we got approved to do a class for the Stark Varg where it's electric class, but gas bikes are actually allowed. Stark's actually going to pay out contingency for it.
Yeah,
so
I saw that.
First time in history that's happening. The women are a huge part of this sport. They got forgotten about for some time here. This last year, WMX came back, but we've been serving the ladies ever since I've had it. I think when it was leased out, they might have kind of forgot about that event a little bit, or the ladies, but we do a lot to bring them and their families in and make sure they have a great time. I think we're up to like $40,000 in contingency of giveaways.
Wow.
I'm still waiting for some finalization of things that we're getting from people, but we give away a lot. There's a $5,000 pro purse. I think that's going to grow to closer to $10,000. AMA doesn't really want it to be more than $10,000. For some reason, I think it's actually not AMA, but it's Daytona Motorsports Group. I'm not really sure exactly what all the thing is, but it's a Pro-Am. They want it to be in a certain range.
Sure.
So we try to accommodate them because you could say whatever you want about the AMA. They do an amazing job of organizing what otherwise would be a complete nightmare.
Yeah.
They got a lot of structure. They add a lot of value to the tracks. They got good people doing thankless jobs and probably not getting paid nearly what they should be getting paid.
Yeah.
So I've been very blessed to be able to work with Mike Burkeen real closely over there. And Tim Cotter called me the other day. He's called me up. He's like, I heard you on a podcast. And I'm really impressed with what you're doing. We want to make sure we're working with you in Texas.
That's awesome, man.
I'm thinking, so the USA Championships, everybody's got to come for it. Like, you can go to Minios if they want to go to Minios. I did Minios. I think it's a great event. I'm not trying to have any shots fired at Minios.
Yeah.
It's just a long distance to go without having like the qualifying process that Loretta's has. So if you go to Loretta's, you're going to be in the top 40 of the country for your class.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure you can go to Minios and come home with an 80th place finish for all the consolations, right? So you're not going to get noticed in any of these things unless you're in maybe the top 5 in your class, maybe the top 10, right?
Maybe.
Still, I don't know what that is, and
you
maybe
you can still win it and not get anything, other than a trophy and a handshake. So
yeah, so what we really try to focus on is making sure that your family and you come out and have an amazing time. Everybody comes with you. On Thanksgiving Day, last year we had over 100 people come out and have dinner with us. We do a big potluck dinner. We have sheep out here.
I remember that.
So we'll be slaughtering sheep again this year. I know it's growing from last year just based on everybody that's already pre-booked and all the phone calls we've been getting about the event.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be a 2,000 race entry event. If we're 500-600, like,
Happy.
great. Like that would be huge for us. I'm totally fine if we're a 350, 400 race entry. Like that's great. But the more that we are, the more we can invest in next year's event.
Sure.
That's kind of what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Right. But I just really want to have good people out here, and that's what it's set up as to do. Is so we'll be open the whole weekend beforehand, and the whole week beforehand. We'll have training out here. So anybody that wants to come do training, learn the track, all that stuff, they can get on the track the whole week beforehand. Even Thanksgiving Day, we're going to do riding. We'll do the Thanksgiving dinner. Everybody gets together, families, friends, like true community and camaraderie. Then Friday will be practice on the national track for race weekend, and we'll have it broken into the groups for the race weekend. Saturday morning, there'll be another practice session. And then we'll have first Moto all Saturday. Saturday night, we'll do a big raffle in the pavilion. We also have all the people that competed in our Moto Mania series. So we'll be giving out a bunch of those awards. That was our summer night series where we actually pay out cash via gift cards. It's kind of like a little loophole that you can do so it doesn't make you a pro rider.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of people that came out for that event, and that series just grew huge. And then Sunday we'll have Moto 2, and all the pros will be on Sunday as well. So that's the format of it. It's really just a good competitive race, but it's really more geared towards the family, friends, and community.
Yeah.
Then we're not going to have the Munster Army out here trying to scout for riders.
Right.
There will be scouts out here for some teams I've already gotten for doing some Texas stuff that they told me they will be sending some people out. But it's not going to land you a ride with Star Yamaha. I don't think. It hasn't yet.
You never know. You never know. We'll leave that door open. You never know. But don't come here
and
expecting.
In the past, like Pastrana, Renard, Alessi brothers, like some top names have come through Cycle Ranch that have gotten their rides, right? So even Faulkner was out here for a different event, but the Kings of the Dirt event, right? So we've had some huge talent come through Cycle Ranch, and we will have, again, huge talent come through this year. We just won't know that they are going to be the next star until they are.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the cool thing is it gives people a competitive environment to race, and it's not a super high pressure, and it's not traveling and spending $10,000-$15,000 to go through a race.
Yeah.
We don't like jack up our prices to crazy numbers like some other places might.
Yeah.
We make it very palatable so that you can come race and have a great time with your family and race.
Yeah, so I really love what you guys are doing and building up the women in the sport there. I've actually been talking to Kylie Stallings about getting her on the show. I've got friends that have daughters that race, and I really think that building up the female presence in the sport, it does nothing but grow the sport and make the sport better. I would love to, I've talked about maybe like expanding to a 2-host show, and adding a female voice, and adding representation that way. So I think it's awesome what you guys are doing there.
It's just you got to include everybody, and when some of the girl riders, these women riders,
dude, they're gnarly.
They're fast.
Yeah,
you got to give mad.
Yeah,
you give mad, like not because they're a girl, like they're just
not at
good.
all.
Like they're talented, and they're just like wow, it's amazing to watch. And their style of riding dirt bikes is significantly different. I would used to go when I was a kid. My birthday present would usually be going to Gary Bailey's motocross school.
Okay.
And he'd be like, if women could just start riding, they will smoke the guys because their center of gravity is lower and they'll be able to do everything in their hips and they'll be able to smoke them. And you see it when you watch, like, you got Kylie, You got
Lachlan.
Draycott.
Yeah.
Who else? Who else?
You look at the Ponca results, the top 5. Lachlan Turner, Kylie Stallings, Jordan Jarvis, Sophia Phelps.
Yeah, and you know what else? We have a vet women's class,
Oh, nice.
and that brought out.
That's probably where you see Draycott. Right?
What's that?
What's her name? Jane Draycott?
Oh, yeah, Jane will race that, but her daughter Skylar. So Jane will be at USA Championships, and she'll be singing the national anthem.
Yeah, yeah.
But her daughter Skylar also races. I think Seth, her twin brother, has an injury, but he might be back in time.
Right.
But they're always out here.
Cool,
they're
man.
great people. Yeah, they were real helpful when we came back and reopened the track. Like we actually at one point we would leave our car at their house so we could fly out to Houston because it was a direct flight, so
Nice.
it was a little bit easier. And Jason is like super cool dude.
Yeah, they're great.
So we have a ton of great women racers, and they were here last year. It was really cool to see. Kylie actually came all the way from Minios and just came straight here to race.
So I have Kylie is coming on the show, so I did talk to her. She trains Monday through Thursday, so we're gonna try to get her on. We're gonna try to record on a Friday, and get her on. Can't wait for that, just because of her motocross journey, where she's at right now, and what she's doing to grow the sport for women as well. I'm really excited for that episode.
And she waxes she's so fast, but she is such like a good person.
Yeah.
But you'll get to that in your interview. Like her demeanor off the track towards the other women, like sometimes women can be pretty vicious,
Brutal
to each other, and she's like, she's apologizing to riders if she might have almost had contact on the track, and it's been cool to see somebody that humble.
Well, cool, man.
And be so far on the forefront. So USA Championships is going to be gangbusters. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I wish everybody luck that goes Minios and does that thing. Like I think it's a really cool experience to have. Obviously, I want everybody to come to Cycle Ranch. Well, I don't want everybody to come to Cycle Ranch. If like you have a shot at the top 10 in your class, go to Minios. Like go to Minios, see what you can do for yourself. If you're going to go to race for 80th, like maybe wait a year. Might make more sense unless it's going to be like a one-time experience. You just want to try it.
Sure.
But because I went after doing Loretta's, and I did pretty good at Loretta's, and then I went to Minios, and I was kind of disappointed in my, not only my results, but my experience overall wasn't like feeling like vibey. I felt more like a number. But that was also 30 years ago.
Long time ago.
So things could have changed.
Yeah.
But usually when things get bigger, you feel more like a number, right? And we're more like a family.
No, I love that. So how, if somebody wants to get some more information about some events coming up or what you guys are offering outside of motocross, how can people get in touch with you? Where can they find you at?
I mean, Cycle Ranch MX on Instagram is probably our most common spot. We have the Cycle Ranch USA MX Championship page on Facebook. We have our website is like ridiculously awesome. If it seems hard to navigate, it's because there's so much content on it. So just use the chat bot and talk to it like a normal person, and it will find you whatever you were looking for. Like it explains things better than I can explain them. And it has like the most current information on it. It's pretty awesome.
AI is a crazy thing these days, dude. It is insane how powerful that tool is to learn things and figure stuff out. Yeah,
and just feed it any information if it's off. Like I just explain it, and it's like it's now programmed with the updated information, right? So I wouldn't even call it AI because it's really just language modeling. There's no real intelligence. It's not like doing thinking. It's just organizing language way, right?
Yeah.
It feels intelligent, but it's just able to get you the information much faster or reorganize thoughts to be able to have it a structure that other people can make it more palatable. But the website's just super clear. December, there's no racing in December. It's going to be a nice chill month for us. Open practice every single day, prepped on the weekends. We got a little camp thing going on during winter break. And then we'll have the winter series the third week, I believe it is, the 18th of January. So we've been trying to get into that series since I was working with Tony and Tom on that back in 2013.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a huge opportunity to get into that series. It's been the largest series in the winter for 20 some odd years, longest running. So it's got some really good notoriety to it. So I'm pumped to have it.
Yeah, for sure.
I wish we didn't keep getting scheduled on the same date as Iron Dog, because that track, I want to go ride that track, but somehow we're always racing on top of each other.
That's what sucks, is you're so close to each other too.
Yeah, I don't know if it's intentional by the promoters or what, but like, I literally texted Zach the other day and was like, when are you racing in April? Give me your date, because I don't want to race on top of your dirt jam.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I schedule Tex-Mex around that. And he was super appreciative. Like, I'm not here to have arguments with people. Like, it doesn't do any good for the riders. So, we try to be cognizant of that. And, hopefully after this year of fireworks, people will start doing things in a little bit more intelligent way. But I think it looks.
We could have a whole month of shows on that subject, and maybe we'll circle back on that some other time. But I really just wanted today to be. I wanted this episode just to be learning about Iain Grae and everything that goes on at Cycle Ranch, the amazing events that you guys are putting on. Outside of Moto and for Moto, what you're doing to grow the sport and to put on that atmosphere there, it's truly awesome. So kudos to you, man.
Thanks, man.
You said, what was the website? CycleRanchMX.com, or you can always look up Cycle Ranch on Facebook and Instagram. Iain, thank you so much for the time. I really want you to be a staple on the show. So I'd love to hear back from you after your event in November. Maybe we touch base before Winter Series, something like that. Let's keep it going, man.
Right on. Well, I really appreciate your time here. I'm really grateful that you're doing what you're doing for motocross in general. Like I said in the beginning, the amateur riders need a voice, and if you're asking the good questions, you'll bring out the voices, and just keep grinding away, plugging away. Not everybody's going to love it. You're going to have hate, you're going to have heat, but let it fuel you and let the love do it as well. Don't take anything personal. Like, pull it a Deegan, right? Like, let any fire coming at you. Like, I'm just here to open up like the conversation. And I know that there was some heat for something that got posted and people were getting upset. Like, if people don't see it, like you're just authentically here to have the conversation, maybe they have an agenda, and just let them have their agenda. They'll reveal themselves. Just stay strong with it and keep doing it. And I guarantee you, in 2-3 years, you're going to be like, oh my God, what did I create?
I hope so, man.
And it might even happen faster than that, because this is a very polarizing thing right now. So I think you're going to have a lot of people willing to listen to what you have to say, or what your guests say.
I think that I think that people will start to see, and I'm not talking about seeing it in me, but I think that people in the Texas scene will kind of start to see, people for who they are in this, and hopefully they'll make their own judgments whenever other news comes out as far as events that are coming up or not coming up for certain tracks. But one of the things that, and I'll leave it on this, that I found really encouraging from you was I told you whenever I started this, or I was thinking about starting it, that I didn't want to be labeled as the one stirring the pot. And I remember what you told me is that you cannot make a beautiful stew without stirring the pot first. So here we are, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Cycle Ranch down in, where are you in Texas?
Floresville, Texas.
What? Kerrville? Floresville. Oh yeah, Floresville. Ladies and gentlemen, from Cycle Ranch in Floresville, Texas, Iain Grae. Woo!
Thank you all. Thank you for having me, bro. Really
brother.
appreciate it.
We'll see you. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to hit that like button if you made it this far. If you haven't already, hit the follow, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Whatever it is I'm supposed to tell you, please do it. We cannot do this without your support. Thank you very much. We'll see you on the next round of Amateur Moto Show.